In this episode, Derek pukes on a Porsche. Grandpa buys a new truck. And Michael has a crisis. Welcome to episode 46 of the We Are Auto Show. What's new, Derek?
Not too much. We did go to a car show recently, and there was something that I want to chat about.
Okay.
With this oncoming EV world that we're getting into, there were a couple of EVs at the car show, which I'm sure you are going to hate.
Very much
I
so.
know you think
very
this is
much
sabotage.
It's horrible.
To bring an EV to a Cars and Coffee. But it is technically a car. Now, the one thing that they did do that I didn't really like at all, where there were a line of Teslas and they opened their frunk, because it's not a hood, to show off their engine, like all of the other cars that actually had engines to look at.
That is easily the stupidest thing in the world. In the whole entire world. Why?
It
Why?
was...
You are more assimilated with the cyborgs than I am, I might say. Can you come to a determination of why they did that?
No, I think to troll people.
It's dumb, but it's not
so.
a troll. It's a troll on themselves, actually.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Like, everyone was just walking by going, like, this is the stupidest thing in the world. Why are we doing this?
I don't know, but I don't think that they should do that. It was interesting.
I agree. I think it's kind of dumb, frankly.
Yeah.
But I digress. Shall we get into some news?
We should.
All right. So, starting the news off with the 2022 Toyota Tundra Capstone trim.
What is that?
It's a trim.
Of the 2022 Tundra?
It is, yes. It's their newest, most luxurious trim of the new Tundra. Like, in previous Tundras, you've got the limited trim, the platinum trim, the 1794 trim, the TRD Pro trim, all the different trims, right? Mm-hmm. So the Capstone is touted as their newest, most luxurious trim. So it's actually supposed to be even more luxurious than the limited and the platinum and the 1794.
Okay.
Just the name of it. Does Capstone sound more luxurious than a trim called platinum?
Not really.
I agree.
No.
It's not a great name.
No.
It's really not a great name. Like, why would you... No, that doesn't sound luxurious at all. But let me give you some reasons why it's more luxurious. So, it is essentially like... I'm going to say this is like the grandpa Tundra.
Okay, I can see what you mean just by looking at these photos.
It's like a lot of chrome and like a lot of just... Like, it's just... A lot of, like, just tinsel.
But you're buying a truck.
Yep.
And it's supposed to... This is a full-size truck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposed to be rugged and tough and... Like,
it's not.
Oh.
No. So the Capstone, they're only giving you the option of buying the Capstone with their the new iForce Max twin-turbo V6 hybrid that's got 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. So that's the only engine option you have for this. And it is also only available in the Crew Max cab with a 5.5-foot bed. So that's the big full-size 4-door cab and the kind of the smaller of the two beds. Not the super long bed, but the smaller bed.
Okay.
It just reminds me so much of like, just like the old guy that has like the F-150 Platinum trim.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he'll haul a lawnmower.
Right.
And it's just comfortable is all he's getting it for.
But don't scratch the bed.
Oh, exactly.
The lawnmower.
Yeah, no, you cannot scratch the bed. That won't work. So it is offered in only a limited variety of colors. So they don't give you the whole palette to choose from. They give you just a small selection of colors. The colors are as follows. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
You can choose from Wind Chill Pearl. What a name. You can choose from Wind Chill Pearl Magnetic Gray Metallic, which they already have Magnetic Gray. You can choose from Celestial Silver, which I haven't seen that one either. Midnight Black, Supersonic Red, and Blueprint.
Blueprint.
The name of the color is called Blueprint.
Okay.
So the colors that I don't know about are Wind Chill Pearl and Celestial Silver. I know a lot about like the Toyota colors. I'm not familiar with Wind Chill Pearl and Celestial Silver.
Windshield Pearl sounds like a cool name.
That to me sounds like probably the color that we're looking at on the pictures.
You think so?
In this article? Yeah, pearl. That sounds to me like a white pearlish.
Could be.
And then Celestial Silver, I think that's probably almost like a cementish gray is my guess.
Yeah.
That's my guess, but I could be wrong here. So let me give you what distinguishes the Capstone from the other Tundra trims.
Good, because I'm trying to understand what this truck is, and I'm confused.
Yeah, agreed. So the Capstone distinguishes itself from the lesser Tundras with a unique grille treatment that has a body-colored grille frame and the pièce de résistance, chrome mirror caps. Oh, yeah, baby.
Okay.
Yes, you get chrome mirrors. Let's go. Not only that, but really the Capstone treatment is more seen and felt on the interior, where you get a pretty cool two-tone white and black leather interior. The two-tone's kind of cool.
The two-tone does look very cool. I will say that.
The two-tone leather, black and white kind of scheme is what you get throughout the interior, but you also have a dark walnut trim with this like really cool looking like ambient lighting that lights up like a little Capstone emblem.
Yeah.
Like the ambient lighting is kind of cool, although I'm not so sure how I feel about the dark walnut with the two-tone.
Yeah.
That seems like a weird kind of combination.
Are they trying to be the future of trucks here? Or are they trying to just like be Grandpa's truck?
I think they're just trying to be the most luxurious they can make it. Like
I guess
they're
the
just trying to
walnut
make
is
it
the Grandpa, right?
That with like the white with the
chrome. Like
it feels like an old man truck.
It really does.
Like it just feels like an old man truck.
But then I look at this photo of the interior with all of these like LED, like halo lighting, and like, okay, you're starting to remind me of like EQS new tech territory.
But then I look at the leather and the wood, and I just think that just looks like an old man.
What is going on?
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. But there is actually a price to pay for all this luxury treatment.
I'm sure there is.
And the price to pay, not the actual price in terms of dollars, the price in terms of performance that you're going to have to pay is you're actually going to get a lesser amount of payload and towing rating.
Oh.
Because you have to tote around all of your leather.
Well, I mean, you're probably not using this for towing anyway, so okay.
You might, no. Grandpa will tow his John boat to the pond.
Yeah.
Twice a year.
Is it that bad? Did they cut it to where he can't take his canoe?
No, not quite.
Okay.
But they've actually kind of lowered the towing trailer rating to 10,340 pounds, which kind of puts it the same as just like a regular mid-pack Tundra. So it's not like a huge deficit, but it is a little bit of a cut. So
it's a big John boat he's got.
It is a big John boat.
10,000 pounds.
Then the payload itself, which is the amount that you can put in the bed.
Oh yeah.
That payload is lowered to 1,485 pounds, which is actually the lowest payload rating of all the Tundras.
Really?
Yeah. So the highest trim level has the lowest payload rating. Yeah.
This truck is luxurious and not about being a truck.
It's about being the daily driver for the guy that might be looking at trading away from the F-150 King Ranch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just
going to retire soon.
Yeah. Can we talk about the price for a second?
I would imagine this is a hefty price.
So they haven't released an official price yet.
Okay.
What would you guess the price to be for this thing?
What's a King Ranch?
An F-150 King Ranch is actually, I think, technically a bigger truck than a Tundra. So you're probably 62, 65.
That's like, is that spec'd out? Because trucks
pretty spec'd out.
Oh, okay, all right. So then
Ish.
I would. They kind of need to undercut that, don't they?
You would think so.
Like if I'm looking in the market and I'm Grandpa and I want to buy a truck, I'm sure that if I want to buy a truck, I've already been in the truck market before. And in which case, you're probably already brand loyal, so this is irrelevant. But assuming you're not brand loyal and you came from a car and you want to get into a truck, you probably need to undercut it, but I don't think it's going to be undercutting it, so my guess is 70.
So so far I cannot confirm nor deny this, but speculatively, it's around 60 grand, so about the same. That seems like not enough truck for too much money.
It definitely does. Could you get what's a Raptor?
I think like 64. I know we talked about this, like 64. I think.
Yeah, like
60 base Raptor at 64. If you get it spec'd out, you're like, I don't know, 75, 80.
yeah. I know you're not getting the luxury, but like it's a Raptor.
Actually, I think you probably are getting about the same level, almost the same level of luxury in a Raptor.
Really?
It's not far off, I don't think.
So
I don't think that I would never buy this truck.
no, I don't understand.
Literally never.
Who is the market for this truck?
Grandpa. I'm not kidding. I genuinely think this is going to be a grandpa. It's going to get sold because it's got wood.
I mean, I guess the wife takes in the RAV4 or the Lexus or something for service, and the husband gets sold on this.
And then
Like-
he's walking around the dealer going, "Look at this, honey.
Is that how this is gonna work?
It's got 2 colors of leather on it. Yeah, baby.
Because
Let's
there's
go."
there's not the truck guys are all truck loyal. They're all brand loyal.
For the most part, yeah.
So this is gonna be really difficult to get somebody into.
I'm not really a big fan of it.
No, neither am I. Interesting though that they've gone this way.
Agreed. Very. So, shall we move on?
I believe that we shall.
'Kay.
So there is a race coming up. It's this weekend. I think
Woo.
this is the first race of the official 2022 race calendar.
Let's go.
And it is the Dubai 24-hour event. Have you ever seen or heard of the Dubai 24 before?
I have, yeah.
So this is put on
I feel like
by...
I've actually seen one of the Dubai 24s. I think I've watched one.
You probably have. I'm sure I've sent you a link one year.
Yeah.
This is put on by the 24H series guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were just at Sebring.
They were just at Sebring. They ended their season at Sebring, and they had all those shipping debacles to try to get the cars on track and like all that problem.
Yes, they did.
So they are back at Dubai. They always have this race. It always opens up the racing calendar. This will be done by the Radio Le Mans broadcast. If you want to watch and listen to those guys.
The best broadcast
Fantastic.
in racing, for
Yes.
sure.
And this is one of the more like underrated races. Like nobody really knows about this series very much.
True.
It does have fantastic racing. It
Mhm.
actually has a extremely diverse like series of cars that's going to be running.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of different classes. We're taking a look at the spotter's guide here, and like there are full-on GT3 spec cars,
Yep.
and then you have like little hatchbacks as well.
It's really cool.
Crazy what they're going to have out there. KTM crossbows will be out there. It is very, very cool.
And then you
what
got
they're
like a
gonna have.
little TCR GTI.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got, like you said, they've actually, I think they're also racing a GT2 spec R8.
A GT2 R8?
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
There's just some craziness out there.
Super diverse, an awesome race. And if I find a link, I'll shoot it over to you, and maybe you can post it up on our socials so
Yeah,
people
definitely.
can give it a watch. They also do have a YouTube, and it is free to watch. It does start on Friday, and usually their 24-hour events, they break up into 2 days. So I believe that it will be a Friday and a Saturday event on YouTube for us here in the U.S.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah. Very cool to watch.
Definitely. So let's go into another 24-hour event then.
All right, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about a little bit of Rolex action because it is now January, the week of the 12th. We're recording on the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
By this time it comes out, it'll be the 14th, I believe, if my math is correct here. So we are not far away from the Rolex 24 now.
No, we are getting very close, actually.
We're getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. Now, we talked, I believe, last week about WeatherTech fielding a Mercedes and a Porsche in the same class. And that was very odd.
We found it very odd and questionable.
Yes. And now to make things even more odd and questionable, WeatherTech is deciding to field a second Merc. So they're running 2 Mercedeses and 1 Porsche in the same class, all in GTD Pro. They're not running 2 Mercedes in GTD Pro and a Porsche in GTD AM. Or they're not running, a mix. It's all in the same class.
Right. So our theory, as last time, we thought that they just had an extra Mercedes laying around. Did they find another one?
I think they did find another one, and I have a reason why I think they found another one.
Okay.
Because WeatherTech founder and CEO David McNeil purchased a Mercedes dealer.
That comes with some of those.
So that would make some sense. So apparently I think he purchased Mercedes of Billings or something like that.
Okay.
So it kind of now is starting to make a little bit more sense why they're running Porsche and Mercedes.
Is still weird that they're running 2 different manufacturers in the same event.
I think they were already committed to Porsche.
It sounds like it to me.
which is cool because I'm a big fan of the Porsche, especially with the WeatherTech livery.
Yes.
I do like their livery.
But there's also not many teams out there that are running 3 cars in the same event.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say is some teams are running a singular car, like
Most.
an car. Yes,
Most, yeah.
and WeatherTech's out there like big balls, like look at us, we got 3, bro.
The last time I remember hearing 3 cars in the same team at the Rolex 24 was back when the 4 GTs were being run, and they were being run by Chip Ganassi Racing.
Yes.
And he basically just threw as much money at the problem as he could to try to win Le Mans and the Rolex 24.
That is the Ford way, isn't it?
Yes. Just throw money at the problem.
You know, it is an efficient way to get things
This
solved.
feels similar to me.
This does have an air of monetary reasoning.
Yes.
Of, how can we win? If you throw enough spaghetti on the wall, you're going to end up with spaghetti in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
If you just own the entire field, well, then you're not going to lose, are you?
Likely not. No.
Well, this new number 15 Mercedes WeatherTech AMG GT3 is going to be driven by a pretty solid lineup here. It's going to have Austin Cindric, Patrick Assenheimer, and a name that you're probably familiar with, Dirk Mueller.
Oh, wasn't he BMW for a long time?
Think he may have been, yeah.
Yeah. I think
So,
he was GTLM BMW.
got a pretty solid lineup in that Merc.
That is a good stout lineup. I
Mhm.
think every one of their cars are going to be very top talent, which lends me to the belief that there's a lot of money being thrown around here.
Yeah, there's a ton. I think WeatherTech has got some big Q4 earnings there.
Yeah, and they're also the title sponsor, right?
Yeah.
Of the series.
Yeah, correct. So pretty much what WeatherTech wants is what WeatherTech gets, frankly.
Yeah.
Now, here's my question is the third Mercedes going to be running season long?
No way.
I don't think so, but
No
it
way.
is WeatherTech.
No way. Could you imagine if a Ford GTs would have run 3 cars all season? No way. No, these are one-off events. It could run the whole
The endurance
the
series.
endurance series, yes.
Yeah.
Which is the 4 races that are all way longer. So the Rolex 24, the Sebring 12 hours, the Salem 6 hours at the Glen, and then Petit Le Mans.
Which then that means they could just literally like win the Endurance Cup just because of the number of cars they have, period. As long as they don't finish dead last each race.
Right.
In terms of points, they could win that cup real quick.
They could. Yeah. But they're individual car-based points, so yeah.
Well, as a team.
Do they have like a team standings on the
I believe they
championship points?
I believe they did.
I thought they did manufacturer. I don't know if they do team.
Well, now that it's GTD Pro, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know they did like the manufacturer, like the GTLM, but
That makes more sense. In
but nah,
GTLM.
I don't know, frankly. I don't know. This is all. I think a lot of us involved in the racing world, we're gonna see this change in GTD Pro and like going from GTLM GTD Pro. I think we're gonna have to take about a half a season to kind of understand what the hell is going on. I think for the first, like, honestly, like 4 races of the season, we're all just going to be like looking around like, I don't really get it since we're all still accustomed to like GTLM, GTD, DPI, LMP3.
I know.
It's going to take us a while, but
Yeah.
we'll get there. We will get there.
Eventually we will. So, is there any other news related to this race? Because I know that it's coming up for us, and there's usually a lot that happens around this area because of it.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep. So there is some news that's not just for the Rolex, but for IMSA itself.
Okay.
So there was one manufacturer that did not really run pretty well consistently in WeatherTech in years prior, and that is McLaren.
They did run in the Michelin Pilot Challenge, I believe.
Not in WeatherTech, though.
Yeah,
right?
not in the big series.
Yeah, not in the big boy series.
Yes.
So they ran. They would run I don't remember what it was, but it was a 570 GT4 car.
I think so.
That they
Yes.
ran in the Pilot Challenge cars. But we now have a McLaren that's joining us for the entire WeatherTech season.
Fantastic.
We haven't seen that in a while. That I am super stoked about because that's more variety, which you and I both love that. That's the whole point why we love IMSA and 24H and like all the others, FIA.
Yeah, that's the magic of road racing, or multi-class road racing, I should say.
Yeah, you can have a Porsche, a BMW, an Audi, a Ferrari, a Corvette, McLaren all duking it out together.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's the whole point of this.
Yep.
But some news that the Inception McLaren squad is setting up for the entire full season in GTD, which is kind of cool. So it's kind of a red and black liveried 720S GT3 car. It's going to be run by a number of drivers for the Rolex. It's going to be Jordan Pepper. What a name. Jordan Pepper. His wife must be Salt as well. I can't miss the puns there. Sorry. As well as Frederick Schandorf, Ollie Milroy, and they've got a bronze-rated driver with them, Brendan Irbe. I have no idea how to pronounce his last name. So, Brendan, sorry. But that's the squad that's going to be racing in the Rolex, and then they will continue with some of those drivers kind of falling away for the non-endurance races.
Right. I'm glad to see that they're going to be running the whole season. I don't remember what Inception used to run last year.
I don't know if they were running last year.
Were they only in the Michelin Pilot Challenge, or were they in the top series? I can't remember.
I honestly think that they weren't even in IMSA. They may have been SRO.
They might be.
Because I know they had more McLarens racing in SRO than they did in IMSA. So I'm wondering if, I don't really honestly genuinely remember where this Inception team came from.
I've heard the name before. So
I've definitely heard it before as well, but I'm feeling like I've heard it from like the GT America.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to see that they're running the whole season, and it's going to be awesome to see them at the Rolex 24. I will say those cars generally, from what I remember, are a little quieter than I would wish that they were, but
agreed.
They do have a McLaren hum to them.
They're cool looking too.
They are very cool looking.
They're cool looking, and it's just more variety that I like to see, right? Yeah. It's just that variety of, and again, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I want to see the Porsche duking it out with the Corvette and the BMW and the McLaren and the Ferrari and the Lexus and the list goes on forever.
In GTD Pro and wait, what are they calling it?
Is it GTD and GTD Pro, or GTD Pro and GTD AM, or GTD and Dive? I have no idea. Like I said, give us at least 4 races to figure this shit out.
Whatever the 2 classes are of GT cars, it will be good because there will be a huge variety across them.
Yeah, there's going to be a huge variety.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit more IMSA news with the Inception McLaren squad setting up for the full season. You got anything else for the IMSA?
I do. So bringing it back to the Rolex 24, at least specifically for this event, hopefully it goes on. There is another factory team that's coming back to the Rolex 24. There's usually a factory team that does show up every year to this event.
Hello.
And they go by the name of Risi Competizione.
Ooh, say that 5 times fast.
No.
Risi. Are you supposed to roll that first R? Is it supposed to be a rolled R? Is it Risi or Risi?
I don't know, but it's awesome.
So if anyone's listening in Italy, please tell me how you're supposed to pronounce that.
Every time I say Competizione, it's awesome.
It
doesn't matter.
It feels good.
Yes.
Risi Competizione.
It's an Italian team that runs with the manufacturer of Ferrari most of the time. And they will be at the Rolex 24, which is good to hear. They were there last year, I believe, and if not the year before.
And I think they had a horrible finish in like every single race they've had since like 2017 or something like that.
They never have good luck, dude. It's sad. At least at the IMSA
at least
events.
in IMSA,
yeah. But they will be joining, and they'll be running in GTE.
What are they running in?
They're bringing drivers in that are from the GTE Championship, which is across the pond.
From the FIA-WEC GTE.
Yes, from across the pond. And it's going to be James Collardo, Alessandro Pierguidi. I don't know how you say his name. Alessandro Pierguidi.
Hey, this is Risi Competizione. This is Ferrari, my friend. This is for all of Italy. This is Alessandro Pierguidi.
Sure.
And I need some pasta now. Thank you.
You do.
Haha.
Davide Regan and Daniel Serra. I know those 2 names.
Yes.
They'll be running the 62 488 GT3 Evo, which I believe is not the newest one. That's
the one they've been running.
Okay.
That's just the one they've been running. They haven't come out with a newer one yet that I'm aware of.
Okay. And hopefully they have better luck because they never seem to have any good luck. And I also hope that they get to run in at least the big championship races or the endurance championship races. Although I suspect that won't happen.
You know what? With the changes this year, they just might. They just might with the changes this year. I think, you know what? I think that's going to depend on how well they do at the Rolex.
Yeah, that probably does.
I think if they get a podium, then they'll probably say, you know what?
Right.
We could do for some more pasta in March at Sebring. Let's go.
I hope so, because I'd love to see him at Daytona and at Sebring.
And at Watkins Glen.
And at Petit, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great.
But there's no way they do a full season. I can guarantee you that.
That would be cool if they did, though.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
Let's...
Always good to see more cars, and this is the Ferrari in the big dog class.
Yeah,
GTD Pro.
Let's get excited for the Risi Competizione. I can't not say that. I just can't not say it.
All right, so as I was driving around, I did spot some cars, but I'm not going to talk about that quite yet.
Okay.
I spotted some things that were going on that was like, ooh, you might just know that person is a bad driver when they do this.
Okay. Okay, so these like... I don't even have to ride in the car with you to know that you're a bad driver.
Yeah.
I just know that you're a bad driver. I can just see it.
I'm driving behind you, and I know you're a bad driver.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I think that the first one that I want to kick this off with is, you know you're a bad driver if your elbows are like way out when you're at like 9 and 3. So you're driving and you're way out here.
Like
basically,
you're driving,
you're too
and
close
like
to your steering
you're so
wheel.
close to the steering wheel that your elbows just go pew.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You know you're a bad driver on that because it can't be
You
comfortable.
could also just be 12 years old.
Guaranteed, you're probably that. But if you're that, odds are you're also a bad driver.
You're not wrong.
Yes.
You're not particularly wrong.
So do you have one of those?
I do. The one that always makes me laugh, and I see this oftentimes with people that think they're especially really cool, is when you think you're cool, so you drive with one hand at 12 o'clock like this.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're leaned back super far, and you see they're like, yeah, look at me, and the veins are popping out of the wrist like, oh yeah, brother, yeah. You already know they're just not a brilliant driver.
No, they don't care about driving. I would imagine it's much more comfortable to just sit your hand at the bottom of the wheel. I don't know why it's always on the top of the wheel.
Because they've seen it in the Fast and the Furious.
Okay.
And they think, yeah, if I do this, the girl in my passenger seat, she's going to be hot for me. You know what that is? I have a theory.
Okay.
One hand at 12 o'clock on the steering wheel is the non-car guy's equivalent to the car guy's handbrake turn to a woman.
That's a good analogy.
Ah. See? So, car guys, we know instinctually that if my wife is in the passenger seat and I want to have a good night, we're going to go around a corner at 1,000,000,000 miles an hour, and I'm going to say, hey, babe, watch this. And I'm going to go around the corner and I'm going to go, whoa, I'm going to pull my love handle, known as my handbrake. My love handle is what I'm going to call it, and she's going to be hot for me, right? That is the one hand at 12. That is the non-car guy's equivalent of the car guy's handbrake turn to turn a woman on.
I like that one. I like that one a lot. But it does make you a bad driver.
It makes you a horrible driver, yes.
So coming back around to mine, when your elbows are out like that, one thing that I wanted to tell people is if you actually want a good seating position, put your back against the chair or the seat and then put your arms all the way out. And the wheel should rest right in the at the beginning of your hand.
I would say right at the palm of your hand, yeah.
Yeah. Like that's a good seating position.
Can I also give a practical reason why you want to be there?
Why?
Have you ever been in an accident?
I technically have not, no.
Okay. Do you know what deploys in the event of an accident?
An airbag.
Yes.
From your steering wheel.
Do you know how fast that airbag explodes out of the steering wheel towards you?
Way too fast for you to react.
Damn near 200 miles an hour, dude.
Yeah, way too fast.
Yeah, so there's your practical reason about that.
Yeah. You can definitely have, if you do have your hand up there, it is just straight up.
Oh, it's toast.
Yeah.
It's
gone.
obliterated.
So, not fun. But I do have another one.
Okay. What else you got?
So have you ever been driving with somebody? And I've had this happen once with a friend, and I never understood it. He was driving, and as he got closer to the light, you know people, when they get closer to the light, they increase the brake pressure, right? And they just like... You're coming up at the light at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then you get closer and closer and closer and closer, and we start to brake harder and harder and harder and harder and harder and harder and harder, and then we hit the end, and you come flying back up to your seat.
Like,
kaboom!
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one of them. But the other one that I found was a really bad driver was when they would get far away from the light, hit the brakes really hard, like stab the brakes, come off of them. Stab it as they get closer and come off of them. And then stab it some more as they come off of them.
They're using their brakes as a light switch.
Yes. Like
on,
a really
off,
jerky
on,
light switch.
Off, on, off, on, off.
Weird. And also terrible.
Yes, I agree. That late braking, that progressive braking into a corner or into a light or anything like that, as someone who is, even if you're not like a good driver, you're just not a horrible driver, you'll be sitting in the passenger seat thinking to the driver that's doing that, thinking, we really should be braking by now. We should be braking a little more back there. We really should have been braking a hell of a lot more, like 100 feet behind us. And then again, they're going, oh, God, please, can you press more on that brake pedal now for me, please?
Yeah.
And then finally you feel them go, more, all the way at the end. And then all of a sudden your forehead is up the dash.
Right. And then it comes flying back at the seat.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Upon full stop. Yes.
My favorite, though, is when I'm already stopped at a light and the car that's in the lane next to me.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there at the light and I'm looking over and I just see this car coming in at, honest to God, like 90 miles an hour. And I'm like, And then you see them come in and their whole car pitches so hard nose down. And you're just like, wow, I would hate to be a passenger in your car right now.
And all the people in the passenger seat.
Yeah, you could see the person in the passenger seat, their whole head go,
yep.
Whoosh.
Yep. Yeah, you know you're a bad driver when you're doing that kind of stuff. That's just not good. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to, from what I know, you're supposed to brake at ideally the same pressure the whole way there.
Yes, a very steady, consistent pressure.
Yes.
Would be ideal. Yes.
And it's actually a fun game to play. Like, how hard do I need to brake to get to that stoplight without adjusting my brake pressure?
It is a fun game to play.
And you can actually get it down to, like, very close to perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a manual car, ideally you actually stop off the brake pedal. You roll to the stop.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
You're just very gentle. It's using your little muscles, not your big muscles. People don't know how to do that.
And it will save your brake pads. I'm just saying.
This is true. And it will make you a more efficient driver, too.
Yes.
Because it's not what you drive in terms of efficiency, it's how you drive it.
It is. So that's a good one. I
agree.
Do you have another one?
I do. I've got one that's, I don't know if it necessarily means that you're a bad driver. Well, you know what? What I'm thinking of, not necessarily makes you a bad driver, but here's my logic. It means that you don't care about driving, and if you don't care about something, then that means you're not particularly good at something. So ergo, it makes you a bad driver.
Yes.
So what it is when you're driving, and you can tell that you have one tire that's just consistently low. Like you never stop to put air in it. Like we all know someone like this.
Yes.
Every time you get in their car, the TPMS light is always on, and you always see a little thing that's like, okay, 33 PSI, 33 PSI, 34 PSI, 18 PSI. And you're like, can you just put some goddamn air in the thing? Figure out what is wrong with your one tire. You may have a nail. Maybe it's an old tire. It's dry. Right? Like, figure it out. And that to me means that they don't care about driving, which again, ergo means you are not particularly a good driver because you don't care about it.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Generally, like, unless it's a really, really old car where all the lights are just going to be ablaze on the dashboard, regardless of what you do.
Christmas tree.
Yeah, but if it's a newer car and you just have, the check engine, the oil, the TPS, and you get in there and they're just all ablaze, you're like, oh boy, here we go.
You already know.
Yeah.
You already
This
know.
is not going to go well.
You got anything else that would tell you that someone's a bad driver?
I do.
Okay.
So this is a bad driver. This is actually
this is a fun segment that you're a bad driver if.
And we do it all the time. Like every time I'm driving, I have that thought. Like, oh yeah, they did that. You're not a good driver.
It's always funny because you know what they're gonna do next too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this one is they can't exactly stay in the center of the lane. They're swerving, they're drifting. They tend to love one side of the lane.
Oh yes.
Or they're just texting and driving and two wheels are just off the road in the grass.
Rumble strips, womp, 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 womp. What's that noise? Oh, I don't know. Maybe there's a...
every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because they're just distracted or something.
Mm-hmm.
But what is your theory behind people who can't stay in the middle of the road? Assuming they're not distracted in driving. They just tend to hug one side. Or they just tend to not understand where they are in the lane. I don't know.
Sure. So there's a couple of theories here. If it's someone that's genuinely not distracted and they're just honestly struggling to find the center of their lane. A couple of things could be going wrong. One, and this is a pretty common one, they could be trying to center their body in the lane, which if you're not driving a McLaren F1, then you're probably not going to be sitting in the center of your car. So your body can't really be in the center of the lane.
No.
Or they could just literally be staring at the lines, which means you're going to drive where you're looking. And if you're looking at the lines, then, well, damn it, you're on the lines, aren't you?
Yep.
Or another theory is they're kind of scared of the oncoming traffic. And they see someone coming and they go, run away, run away again.
I see.
Those are a couple of theories.
Yeah, I never thought about that last one. That's a good one. That's an interesting
Those
one.
are a few theories.
Yeah. Whenever you see someone who can't stay in the center of their lane, either they're distracted or they're like probably not a very good driver.
Oh, yeah, or both.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have another one?
I do. One that is particularly at night.
Okay. Let's see where this is going.
So at night, if you're this muppet that is driving around permanently with your high beams on, you're not a good driver, which means you're not paying attention to all of the things that are in your dash, right?
Right.
And or the contrast to that is also if you're a driver that is driving with no headlights on at night.
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing that a lot more lately.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot more. And I can't help but think like, how do you not, it is pitch black outside. How do you not be driving on the road and either think that like the ambient lighting inside your car is like so like bright because it thinks it needs to brighten it up more because of the sunlight, that you're like, I'm blinded by my speedometer. Or the other way, like, how is there no lighting in your car and you're thinking, wow, things are awfully dark in here.
Mm-hmm.
Or the high beams. Because, I mean, how do you not see the blue light bulb on your dash that tells you, hey, dumbass, your high beams are on and you are blinding literally every single human being in existence right now?
I think that those are solvable problems in the future. I think that some cars are starting to come with that.
Yes, some cars are coming with those automatic high beams. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
But oftentimes the automatic high beams don't work because they don't know what is other lights coming at you.
Right. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I will say that there was one time that I was actually pulled over because I didn't have my headlights on. And I was up in college and I was driving someone else's car and I had only flicked the lights one tick.
To the parking lights.
To the parking lights. So the dashboard was on and I had no idea my headlights were off.
You couldn't see in front of you? Was there a lot of street lights?
There was a ton of street lights.
Okay.
It was Orlando. It was lit up like a Christmas tree.
I'll give you a pass because you were in college and young and dumb.
Yes, I was. But once I got pulled over, I told him, not my car. I didn't know my headlights were on. He's like, okay, have fun. See you. Go back to what you were doing. When?
All right. So do you have any more that tell you that someone's a particularly bad driver?
I do. This one actually happened to me recently. I think it was like last week. When you are ever trying to turn right or left and you have another car that comes all the way past the line where they need to stop and they get right in your way of where you're trying to look, or another car that goes too far back to the line, or they don't trigger, the sensor that determines if there's a car at the stoplight and they're way far behind it, or if they end up going into the pedestrian walkway and stopping there way past the line, those are always signs that you are a terrible driver.
Very much so.
Yes.
It's funny, actually. While I was on the way to our studio, there's a big 4-way stop sign close by. I made a nice, comfortable stop at the first white line, not the crosswalk, and the car next to me literally stopped past the entire crosswalk in almost the middle of the intersection.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, what? Hello? What?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's your sign.
Yeah.
Those are never fun. And it is the worst when you have to try to creep out and out and out and out and try to look around the car.
Yeah, you're trying to make a right on red and you're like, you're
right.
14 miles past the intersection. I can't see around you.
Or if you have you see that they're way past there, you'll stop short of them to get the vision behind them because they're way far in front. Yeah.
You're like, this is pointless. This is pointless.
I know you're so bad, but I can sort this out.
Yes, exactly. So I have one more way to know that someone's a bad driver.
All right, what is that?
You ready for this? This is going to be a bombshell.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell someone's a bad driver very, very simply if they drive a Nissan Altima or a BMW. Have you ever noticed Altima drivers are some of the most aggressive drivers on the road?
Oh, God. Yeah.
And they always drive with one hand at 12 o'clock on the steering wheel.
Are there any other cars?
Kia Souls.
I mean, could you say like Hyundai Elantras?
Yeah.
just
most
general
most Korean
cheap.
cars.
But I wouldn't say like a Corolla or a Civic is.
No, they're Japanese, Korean cars.
Okay. All right.
But yes, that's just V6 muscle cars. Yes.
BMWs, it depends.
Well, what's funny? I got a story about a BMW, and I always have stories about BMWs. But just this week, I was stopped at a gas station, and there was a BMW stopped because they wanted to get a sandwich or something, and they were sitting in their car eating. And the dude driving the BMW was a BMW 330i, almost brand new. It was this little row of parking spots that was like the double row parking spots where you can pull straight through to the other side. So he thought he was going to make life easy on himself and pulled through to the other side, but he has zero spatial awareness and was on top of the line on the right, as well as not fully in the stall in front of him, so his rear end was still in the prior stall.
Oh, God.
And then, to make things even better, when I left the gas station, this fine BMW driving gentleman left with me. And as we were driving down the road, he proceeded to make multiple left lane changes with his right turn signal on.
Nice.
Brilliant. Yes.
That's another one, actually. You're not a good driver when you have your music so loud that you can't tell if your turn signals are on and you leave them on.
I don't think his music was loud. I think he was just clueless.
It could be that. But I like to believe that it's their music that makes it so they don't know that. Maybe it's just like, you got a big truck, you just can't hear it. I don't know. But
how do you not scan your dash, though? Like, how does someone not look at their instruments and think, what is this blinking light? What does this mean? Something must be happening. What is going on?
Right. The only time I've ever actually had that happen, and I like genuinely had it on for a long time, I was on the interstate and it was hailing down. It was terrible weather.
Here in Florida?
Yeah, and I could not hear a thing. It was so loud. And I wasn't even looking at my dash because I was just fixated on that line. Because you could barely see it.
It's funny. That's actually part of why we moved back from Colorado to Florida was because of the hail.
Yeah, not fun.
Very not
Never fun.
Very, very not fun.
But those are some good ones. We should try to keep up with some more of those you see one.
We'll do that segment again later. I know you're a bad driver. When?
And if anybody has some, just send them our way. We'd love to chat about them.
Absolutely. So we did touch on this a little bit in the beginning, but there was a Cars and Coffee this past weekend.
There was.
So let's give a quick little recap of Cars and Coffee here in sunny Sarasota, Florida.
There was an absolute banger of a Cars and Coffee.
Dude, it was a good one, man.
It was fantastic.
And you got to admit, it was the best weather you could have ever scripted for Cars and Coffee.
Yes.
It was sunny. It was like 65 degrees with the sun going up and up and up. And by the time I left, it was like 73 degrees.
It was perfect. And it was
100%.
also one of the biggest turnouts I've ever seen.
I think I saw well over 500 cars.
Yeah, it was unbelievable how many cars there were.
Solid turnout.
So do you have any special ones that stick out?
I have a few special ones, yes.
All right.
So every month they do kind of like a theme with the Cars and Coffee, like a JDM theme or whatever the case, a German theme. This theme was American Muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one thing that stuck out to me that was just like, it was almost like comical, but funny, but not funny, but cool, but like well done, but horribly done, but like, I can't really describe it, but someone made this like fake Batmobile out of what I think was a Corvette at one point.
It looked like that.
I think it was a Corvette at one point.
It was awesome though.
But I loved the detail on it.
Yes.
They put the detail on this to where it's like, it had the bat phone in it. Mm-hmm. It had the missile launcher pods. It had like the mirrors just like you had in the Batmobile, the little tiny little split mirrors that are like on the dashboard. It was really, really cool.
It was unbelievable. For the detail that they put into it and like it not being perfectly spec'd, because you'd think if they put that much detail in it, it would be like pristine.
And that's why I'm like, my brain is like hard to rack this. It's like, it was horribly well done.
Yeah.
Like, weird.
But at the same time, it was awesome.
Really, really cool.
Because it seems like he just like wanted to do the project for the fun of doing the project, not to like turn a profit on it. And like put it in a movie or something like that.
He's just like some dude's like, I think he just woke up one day and was like, I'm going to turn this sumbitch into a Batmobile and let's do it.
And he did.
And he just got to work. And he put all the little details in it, and it was just brilliant.
There were definitely people standing around that car going, "Whoa, look at that! That's cool."
Yeah, because there was so many little details. Like the more you look, the more it was like, whoa, there's some crazy fabrication here.
There was.
So that was one of my favorites. Another thing that stuck out to me was an Alfa Romeo that I've already talked about from a Caffeine and Gasoline a while back, but the 8C, which is a car that Jeremy Clarkson was drooling over many years ago. Mm-hmm. And that's one of those cars that if you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. It is just strikingly beautiful. But that red Alfa Romeo 8C was out there. But my absolute favorite of the cars and coffee was a Porsche. And you already knew that was coming.
Of course it was.
But it was a special Porsche.
What was it?
It was a 992 GT3, but it wasn't just a regular 992 GT3s because I've now seen a few of them, right? Mm-hmm. I've seen the Shark Blue, I've seen the Carrera White Metallic, and I've seen the Jet Black Metallic, right? And these are the colors. This was a special 992 GT3. This was spec'd in a paint-to-sample olive green. Not only was it paint-to-sample olive green, it had, they had the bronze neodyme wheels, black calipers, and the piece of the car that really put it all together for me was the Pepita seat inserts. It's kind of like houndstooth.
Houndstooth?
Yeah, like the pattern houndstooth. Oh, man, it was good.
So I did see this. I'm going to try to pull up a photo right here.
So that's not quite the exact same one, but it's close. It's close enough.
This color to me, I actually had a conversation with somebody about this color, and it was like, man, I don't think I would take this car in this color because you're going to have to sell this car to someone, right?
And honestly, I think that will make you sell it for more.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree on that.
Dude, the greens are so profitable. The greens print a lot of green.
It's like a puke
especially
green.
It's puke?
Yeah.
It's olive.
I'm not a fan of it.
Puke is what comes on the Kia Soul.
Yeah.
That is not puke. That
All
is
right.
deliciously crafted excellence. And it also looks a little different on this picture because it's got the more black accents, like the black wheels. Mm-hmm. It pops way more with the neodyme, the kind of bronze wheels that we saw.
Yep.
I love it.
I think we're going to agree to disagree on that car. Of course you love it.
I had a huge hard-on for this car. As soon as it rolled in, I was like, oh my God, look at this thing. Plus, I'm also a nerd about, like, interesting specs.
Yes, you are.
Like, an interesting spec car is, like, that is really, really cool for me.
All right,
like,
James May.
I just really like interesting specs. So then my favorite was a paint-to-sample olive 992 GT3 with Pepita seat inserts and bronze neodyme wheels and black calipers. Except the problem was it was PDK and not 6-speed manual. I wish that was a manual.
Yeah, okay. Yep. All right, I have a different take. Okay. So there was a Ford GT there that was in the Golf livery.
Yeah, the Super Performance Golf livery Ford GT. Yep.
Yes.
With, do you remember what it had that was interesting about that?
The little dome on the top?
Yeah, the gurney bubble.
The gurney bubble.
Yeah, so you can fit your helmet in there.
Yeah, that was actually very cool to see that. Does it come like that?
You can spec it that way.
That's cool. That is very cool that they did that. Mm-hmm. But there was the one car that I really want to chat about, and it was a Di Tommaso Pantera.
Oh, let's go, a Pantera.
And I believe I'm saying that correctly. Now, it is odd that this car does it would be like doing F-150 Ford because the manufacturer comes after the car.
I think so.
Weird. Didn't know that was a thing. Also, had never seen a Pantera, I believe, in person. Have you?
Not up close.
Okay. So this was the first time that we both saw one. Now, a Pantera was originally created here in the U.S. It was actually created from like a cattle farmer, I believe.
All right, I already like that. I didn't know that was the backstory. I love that.
Yeah. And they got a hold of a manufacturing plant over in Italy. They also got in touch with Ford. So this car is like Italian kind of weirdness meets a Ford engine.
It's a New York mafia boss.
Yeah. But it was a very cool looking and crazy kind of weird car that I don't ever remember seeing or hearing about.
It's cool.
It is a cool looking car.
It's cool.
The car itself had a 5.8 liter V8, solid engine,
Can dig it.
making 326 horsepower. I believe these were manufactured in the 70s.
That's a lot for the 70s, but we've talked about this.
Mm-hmm. That's a big engine.
5.8 liter with how many horsepower?
320.
That's not what I would call a lot.
No, not at all.
It's a chunk for the time it was made, but that's not particularly tons.
No. It does weigh 3,000 pounds.
That's higher than I expect because it's not a very big car.
No, it was a pretty small car, but I guess that they just built it out of like lead. So.
And you have a 5.8 liter V8.
It does have a 5-speed manual, and I guess that it gets a 0 to 60 time in about 5.8 seconds, which is not as bad as I
think that's
thought.
probably because it's a slippery car for the time.
It is aerodynamically efficient for the time.
It does look kind of slippery.
Yes. You can get one of these. I guess that you could originally get them around like 50K, and I guess you can find a beat up one now for 50K. But they're going all the way up to about 250K if they're well kept. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
They have a big price range.
Seems like it. Holy
So
cow.
it is a Di Tommaso Pantera, a cool, different car that I have almost never seen before.
So that's your favorite of Cars and Coffee?
Yeah, I love seeing something I've never seen before.
There was a lot of cool stuff. There was a lot of cool American muscle.
Yeah.
An old Cuda. There was Challenger. There's just all cool old American muscle stuff. But that Pink to Sample Porsche just does it for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sure it does.
It does. So shall we get into our car spots of the week?
We should.
All right. So I'm gonna pose you the question. Would you rather go first or would you rather I go first?
You go. Actually, I'll go first.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I don't have too many car spots, but
I have quite a few.
Yeah,
so
we'll rifle through them.
why don't we go through yours first?
Okay. So around the Cars and the Coffee area, the couple hours afterward, I saw a nice 720S McLaren. Couldn't tell if it was actually in the show or not. It was like black and gray, solid spec. And then I saw today a Ferrari 360, and it was a Liberty Walk.
Oh, so a custom wide body Ferrari 360.
Yes. Have you ever seen a Liberty Walk Ferrari before?
I haven't seen a Liberty Walk Ferrari, but I have seen a Liberty Walk. What was it? Hurricane, maybe?
What's the deal with Liberty Walk?
It's like a super hypey, like trendy wide body kit, big on social media kind of a thing. I mean, it's definitely wild. It's like SEMA builds. It's wild for sure.
So does this also go alongside what was the McLaren that we saw that had the kit?
The Novatech.
The Novatech kit.
So this is more, let's put it this way. The Novatech is like, how do I make this analogy? The Novatech would be much more quality. The Liberty Walk is much more hype scene.
So they're just trying to build clout, I guess?
Yeah, Liberty Walk is just for clout. Novatech actually has some like real quality to it.
Yeah, the Novatech, I couldn't see like the rivets and the bolts that kept it all together. This, I think that they do this on purpose, but you can see the rivets. They do it on
purpose. Yeah, no, they definitely do it on purpose. It's designed to be very trendy and very bold and very statement piece.
When I saw it initially, I was like, that's gross. I'm not a fan of that. And I'm a fan of some weird stuff, but not that.
Yeah, it's... I can respect it. I prefer it on actually, you know what? I like some of the Liberty Walk kits that go on some Porsches. I've seen a Liberty Walk kit on a Porsche that looks decent.
Okay.
Because it looks very track focused when it's on a Porsche. But when it's on a Ferrari, it just looks kind of out of place.
Are there a bunch of different kits out here like this?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a variety of different craziness that you can just bolt onto one of these if you want.
Yeah, I think it does still need some fabrication, but it's mostly just all slap that sumbitch on there and call it a day.
I will say that I did see this in a gym parking lot, so I'm sure it was for the clout.
Bro.
Yes.
Can you picture the gym bro that drove that? You already know what he looks like.
Yeah.
Gym tan laundry.
Yeah.
Fist pump like champ. This is Jersey Shore kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely retired Jersey Shore Ferrari.
So that was a spot. I only wanted to pull that up because I had no idea what that specific kit was, and you knew it off the top of your head, and I was like, what is it?
Yeah,
That's
as soon as
crazy.
I saw it, I was like, oh, that's Liberty Walk. It's It's definitely a lot for the clout. That's what it is.
Okay. So then let's get on to what you have. Because you have some stuff.
So I'm sorry, but I've spotted the spots of the freaking century this past week. So I'm going to start with the kind of the more boring stuff, and I'm going to work my way up to the most exciting spot that I have ever spotted in my entire life, I'm going to say. And that's a bold claim because I've seen some cool stuff over the years. So yes, this past week I spotted the coolest car of my whole life. But to start with, I did see a new Polestar Volvo, new EV Volvo thing. Didn't get a really good look at it, but I did see it just quickly in passing. Don't know much about it, but the way I would describe it is that it's this like EV Volvo that kind of looks like if you had a Cybertruck and like a regular Volvo sedan had like a baby. Because it has kind of like, I would say like that I think is the one. Yeah, I'm looking at Derek's screen and it's got kind of this like, I don't know. It's like angular, but not. It's kind of weird. Not a huge, really big fan of it, but it's interesting. It's the first one I've seen ever, and I didn't know they were really starting to deliver these.
Yeah, I don't really know a lot about them. They are full EV, right?
I think, but that's all I know.
Okay. It looks pretty clean to me. It actually starts to remind me of the Lucid, now that I look at it.
Kind of.
Which is interesting.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Okay.
Because believe it or not, I saw a Lucid.
Did you?
My next spot is one of the new Lucid Airs, and it's an EV, and I actually am surprised to see it. I was like, holy shit, that's a Lucid. Oh my God.
Those are rare to see right now.
Those are very
rare.
And for those of you watching on YouTube, the spec that you're seeing on the screen is that bronzish, beigeish spec. That's the exact spec that I saw.
That's a good spot.
I genuinely think it was maybe that same car as like a press car driving around.
It could have been, and that is a darn good spot because those are super, super rare.
I don't think those are being delivered yet. Maybe one or two have been delivered, but I don't think there's any delivered here.
I don't know off the top of my head. I know that Rivian's delivering a couple, but I don't know Lucid at the moment.
But yeah, my next spot of the week is the new Lucid Air. Now, you know what it reminds me of?
The Lucid?
Yep.
What?
I'm gonna give you a tagline, and I want you to catch what I think it reminds me of. You ready?
Okay.
All right. What actor says that?
I don't know.
Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
Who is he a spokesman for? Who does he do all their commercials?
I don't know.
Lincoln.
Oh.
It reminds me of like a futuristic Lincoln.
Yeah,
it has a futuristic Lincoln-y vibe.
I can see that. Like, it's definitely that car that's trying to push the like. Is it trying to be an old car though, or is it trying to be the new tech, like a competitor to a Tesla?
It definitely looks better than a Tesla, in my opinion.
Yes,
it looks way more luxurious, but we know it is because that's the whole point.
Right. And that's what it's trying to be. I think it's trying to be a luxurious, modernized. I shouldn't say modernized. Like a Tesla is like a little kid. Would you disagree?
I can kind of agree.
Compared to this, at least.
It's like rudimentary.
Yes. Very bare bones. I don't know how to say that.
Very bland.
This is luxury compared to a Tesla. And I think that's what they're trying to go after here.
I mean, it looks striking. When I saw it, I was like, whoa, that's a Lucid. Kind of cool. And I knew you'd get a kick out of it.
Yeah. And I believe this is one of the few cars that actually has a solid range right now in the EV market.
I think it has a 400-mile range, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's a really solid EV.
Yeah.
Cool spot. I wish I would have seen one because I'd love to actually drive one too.
Yeah, well, me too. I'd love to drive everything. But yeah, so that was one of my spots. Really, really cool spot. But my next spot is going to top almost anything you ever spotted, frankly. No offense.
Okay.
This has been seriously like the biggest week of car spotting in my entire life, just as I've been wandering around. So this was actually, I believe, the same day of Cars and Coffee afterwards while I was at work.
This wasn't at Cars and Coffee?
No. The next thing I spotted, this was, and you're going to laugh where this thing was going, but I spotted you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
A Bugatti Chiron.
What?
In pokey little Sarasota, Florida.
How?
I was sitting at a light, and I look over, and I'm losing my face going, oh my God, it's a Bugatti. Holy shit, it's a Bugatti Chiron. And that actually looks exactly like the spec of it right there. So Derek's looking at the spec of what it looked almost exactly like. It was this like maroon and white colored, like it was beautiful, beautiful spec, very classy spec. But that is one of my spots. And believe it or not, the Bugatti Chiron is not even going to make my spot of the week.
Do you know where that Bugatti was going? Do you know who was driving it?
I have a sneaky suspicion I might know who was driving it, but you want to know where it went?
Yeah, I do. I'm very curious.
McDonald's.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding. I'm not shitting you. The goddamn Bugatti Chiron pulled into McDonald's. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You drive a $3 million car. Why are you going to McDonald's? Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
Let me give you some specs on a Chiron for a second, okay?
Okay.
The standard Chiron, the one I saw, that two-tone maroon and white, it comes standard with an 8-liter quad-turbo W16.
An 8-liter engine.
Quad-turbo. W16.
I can't wrap my head around that.
It's got about 1,500 horsepower. Okay. Not only it's got 1,500 horsepower, it's got almost 1,200 torques. But it weighs 4,400 pounds.
Whoa, it's hefty.
Well, it's got a W6. It's got 16 cylinders, dude.
Yeah.
It does. Now, these are the staggering numbers. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
It does start just shy of $3 million, but that's just nothing, right? So,
okay, sure.
The staggering numbers are in terms of its acceleration and its speed. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
0 to 60, 2.4 seconds. That's quick.
For 4,000 pounds, that's
That's moving.
That's
right?
fast.
But even better than that is the time it takes to get from 0 to 124 miles per hour.
Oh, God.
It goes from 0 to 124 miles an hour in 6.5 seconds.
0 to 124.
Think about that. That's like about as fast as it takes you to get from 0 to 60.
Whoa.
And it's W.
Holy moly. I wonder what the quarter mile time is on this.
Probably stupid fast. It didn't list a quarter mile. But it's 0 to 186 miles per hour. Are you ready for this? 0 to 186 miles per hour in 13.6 seconds.
Oh my
so
God.
it is about as fast to 186 miles an hour as a 90s Buick is to 60. But I think the even staggering number is that if I remember reading it correctly, to get from, I think it was its top speed of 261 miles an hour to a dead stop, I believe it took 9 seconds to do so.
Oh, it took 9 seconds to slow down?
From 260 miles an hour.
Whoa.
That's a lot. That, you know what, though? That's painful.
Oh, yeah, it is.
If you think about that number, right? Think about that number. You're traveling 260 miles per hour to a dead stop. That would freaking hurt, I think.
Yeah.
I think you would probably have almost genuinely get the wind knocked out of you.
That's wild. How long did that take? 9 point...
to
go from 200 or top speed down?
I think it was just shy of 9 seconds.
The quarter mile time for this car is 9.4 seconds.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
It is a sub 10 second car.
So everything about the Bugatti is just bonkers, mind-blowing numbers.
I can't believe you saw one of these on the road.
Everything
went to
is
McDonald's.
Big. And to boot, that's not even my spot of the week.
How?
That's what I said up until I'll tell you my next spot. You ready for this?
I guess.
So my spot of the week, the absolute crown jewel of all the cars I've spotted this week.
More than a Bugatti.
More than a Bugatti, as a matter of fact. And actually much more rare than a Bugatti, believe it or not. So my spot of the week. I'm still just shaking in the fact that I've even seen one of these on a public road, just casually driving down 5 o'clock rush hour traffic in pokey little Sarasota, Florida. Are you ready? A Pagani Huayra BC.
What?
There's a Pagani Huayra BC. Now, I do know, through all the car spotting groups I'm in, there's 2 Huayras in Sarasota, and they're owned by the same person. I saw the Pagani Huayra BC, which is the rarest version of the Pagani Huayra.
I don't know what to say.
What's really funny, and that's my thought. What's really funny is I was in a really shitty mood when I was driving around with my wife, and all of a sudden I look over and I'm like, holy shit, look at that thing. I'm freaking out, losing my mind, going crazy. And she's like, whoa. She even was like, that's really freaking cool. It was just casually cruising along, chugging along, 5 o'clock rush hour traffic.
What?
That's the spot of the century.
You drive a Pagani in 5 o'clock traffic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How cool is that? Let me give you some stats on the Pagani Huayra BC.
Sure.
So I did see that exact spec that we're all looking at. If you're on YouTube, you're seeing this white with an exposed blue carbon center and a blue stripe with blue accents. So that, for those listening, is what I've described as the Pagani Huayra BC that I've seen. Now, the BC is the track-focused version of the standard Huayra, which is funny to say because there is a standard version Huayra.
Sure there is.
Bro. There's a standard version Huayra. Yes. And I saw the track-focused Huayra BC. The term BC, comes from Pagani's very first customer, the late Benny Caiola. Don't know anything about him.
Okay.
But that's who he is. That's where the term BC comes from. Now, the BC, the Huayra BC, has an improved and updated version of the standard Huayra's 6-liter twin-turbo V12 that is got in the BC. It's got 791 horsepower with 775 pound-feet of torque. Now, I know those numbers are, funny enough, smaller than the Bugatti.
Actually, by a lot. The Bugatti's almost double the horsepower.
But right? Are you ready for the number that's way smaller than the Bugatti?
Sure.
The weight.
Yeah.
So the Bugatti weighs 4,400 pounds. The Pagani only weighs a little. It's actually less than 2,700 pounds.
It's almost half.
It's half.
It's very close to half.
It's 2,600 and change.
Whoa. Okay.
So, well, you got less power and less torque. You got a hell of a lot less weight.
Right. The power to weight ratio almost matches the Bugatti, actually.
Actually, yeah. It's 0 to 60. Well, yeah, it's not quite as fast as the Bugatti. It's 2.6 seconds 0 to 60. And I don't have all those cool numbers like the Bugatti. That's still stupid fast.
Yeah.
Now, this is actually way more expensive than the Bugatti.
The Bugatti was $3 million.
Just shy of $3 million, yeah. The Pagani Huayra BC, since they're all pretty well bespoke, they're all around about $4 million and up each.
What?
They only made 20 of them in the entire world.
20?
One of 20 lives here in Sarasota.
Holy moly.
Oh my God. When I saw this, I cannot believe I've been wanting to see a Pagani my entire life. It is maybe the coolest car ever. It is definitely the coolest car I've ever seen in real life.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of cool ass cars. I've seen Carrera GT. I've seen all sorts of stuff. I've seen 918 Spider, P1, you name it. I've seen all sorts of cool stuff. But a Pagani Huayra, there is something about it that is just way more stylish, cool, and just out there.
It's so wild of a car, dude.
I am freaking in love.
Oh man, I don't know. What is this trying to be?
Its like, own thing.
It really is.
It's not trying to be anything. It's just trying to be it.
Yeah.
It is so cool. It is so cool. And best of all, it had a little sticker on the front that said Pagani Raduno. Do you know what the Pagani Raduno is?
No idea.
It's a Pagani cross-country rally.
There's a Pagani cross-country rally?
Yeah, there's actually a guy I follow on Instagram. His handles, and this is no advertisement, but his handle is One Slow CRX. He literally has driven his Pagani Huayra cross-country multiple times.
Wow.
It's the coolest thing in the world.
Wow.
Every time I'm like watching his stories and stuff, I'll message him like, you are the epitome of the car enthusiast. You have awesome. A $4 million car and you drive it across country on a regular basis.
That's crazy.
Like he'll just get in and go for like a 12-hour drive. I'm like, okay, I want to be you. But my spot of the week is a Pagani Huayra BC. just gently cruising down 5 o'clock rush hour traffic in Florida. Sarasota, Florida at that. This is not Miami, FYI.
No.
We don't live in Miami.
No.
So now I have a question for you. Let's play hypothetical question here. You ready?
Sure.
What would you rather have? The Bugatti Chiron that I saw or the Pagani Huayra BC?
Dang. Okay.
So these are two of the craziest spots that I've ever seen. And I saw them within 2 days of each other. Like I sent Derek a message and I was like, holy shit, you're never going to believe what I just saw. And then 2 days later, he's like, how are you seeing these things? What is wrong with you?
Okay, question for you. If I asked a random person on the street, somebody who's not particularly a car enthusiast, and I said, do you like my Pagani Huayra or do you like my Bugatti Chiron? Which one do you think their ears would perk up more to?
They're going to say the Bugatti because they've heard the rap song that I woke up in a new Bugatti.
True. I think you're right about that. So I think I would take the Pagani.
You would take the Bugatti?
No, Pagani.
Okay.
The Huayra.
Okay.
Because I feel like Bugatti does have the
clout
to it. But Pagani is just insanity. Like,
well, Pagani, you don't know about Pagani unless you know about Pagani.
yes. It's kind of like Koenigsegg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that.
It's like
level.
if you don't know about it, you don't know about it.
But when you do, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, when you know about Pagani, you're like, holy shit, that's a Pagani.
Yeah. I think I would go Pagani just for that fact alone, that people would not know what it is.
Even though the Bugatti's numbers are, like the Chiron's numbers are so much more mental and crazy. Just the numbers behind the Chiron are just so bonkers.
They're absolutely nuts.
Like every number that is associated with the Bugatti Chiron is big. Everything from its weight to its price to its horsepower. It is just big. It is a big car. It is probably the most luxurious. It is, as Clarkson said, it is like the pinnacle of engineering of what we can do with a car.
Yes.
It is the fastest, the biggest, the most comfortable, the most luxurious, the most of everything.
But you're just going to be known as like the rapper or baller. Whereas in your Huayra, you know how many heads will turn? Oh my God.
Yeah.
It would kill the Bugatti in a head turning competition.
I do also want to add the Paganis, the Huayra.
Yeah.
You know where that V12 comes from?
Where?
Mercedes.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's actually very cool.
It is actually a handcrafted Mercedes V12 made by a gentleman called Michael Kubler.
Michael Kubler.
Yep. Goes by F1 Mike 28 on the gram.
That is very cool.
So
I mean, I'm sure that Bugatti's engines are also kind of handmade. Most of them.
Yeah, of course, but
at this price point, everything is handmade.
So you know which one I'd take?
What? Which one?
You know I'm a big fan of all the big numbers, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also a big fan of feel. I bet you the Pagani would feel way better than the Bugatti.
It would feel like a race car, I bet you.
I bet you it would.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I love the interior of a Huayra way more than I love the interior of the Chiron.
The interior of a Huayra is nuts. Now,
I don't have a picture to pull up, but the interior of a Pagani Huayra is the most... It's beautiful. It's purposeful, too. You can see, like, the inner workings of the gearbox. Like, all of the... and I think that's actually the picture you're looking at. I think that's actually the exact one I spotted, too. That blue and white theme, which I think Derek's going to pull it up on YouTube. So if you're listening audio, we're pulling up a picture of the Huayra BC's interior. And it's just the most, like, bespoke, beautiful, like... It's just... I love Pagani. I just do. It's so freaking cool.
I'm going to pull up a variety of photos here. And I forgot that the all of the different panels and everything open up into like this insanity. Everything about this car is insane. Everything about
so
the Huayra
cool.
is just insanity.
Yeah, that like clamshell. Everything opens.
Everything opens to just craziness, and it's amazing. And
Do you have a picture of the interior?
I think there is one in here.
So this isn't the same one I spotted, but it's all just so cool. Like all the engineering. See the AMG badging? Yeah.
Yep.
There. Like look at that's got the luggage. Does it have any more pictures of the interior? Look at the interior of that. It's so cool. You can see the inner workings of the shifter, like the shifter linking. There's something about that Pagani.
Yeah,
I would definitely take the Pagani Huayra BC over the Bugatti Chiron, even though I love horsepower and I love cylinders and I love displacement. That Huayra is just something
There's more
else.
character here. There's much more
just
character
something else about this Pagani Huayra.
Yeah.
So that's my spot of the week.
Is there a car spot that will ever beat that?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Genuinely don't. And not that this is a competition, but it's definitely competition. It is easily the coolest car that I have ever spotted in my entire life. And again, I've spotted some really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some really, really cool stuff while I've been out. I've been to, we've been to car shows, we've been to races, we've been to all sorts of stuff. And this Pagani Huayra BC is...
I can't think of another car. There will be one in the future, but I can't think of one right now that will beat it.
It's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
It's incredible. But yeah, that's my spot of the week.
All right. We need to move on.
Okay.
We need to finish this up.
All right. What you got?
So, the coveted I wish they would have.
Okay.
I wish that the OBD ports,
Yeah.
the onboard diagnostic ports.
Yeah,
that
where
they
you
have.
can read the codes if you're throwing a check engine light or something.
Mm-hmm. Do you know how those are always like a crazy plug?
Yeah,
They're
a
not
standard
just-
OBD port plug, yeah.
Why can't they just be a USB port? Like, why not?
That would make a lot of sense. Maybe is it too much information to carry over a USB port?
There's no way. If I can transfer terabytes of data over USB from a hard drive, there's no way it's too much information.
I see your point, and that makes some sense.
Yes. It seems like a very doable thing. Just have it USB. You can plug in your own computer. I'm sure you'd have to download some software to interact with it because that's what you have to do with anything. If I want to download something off of a new camera, I have to download some software to get it. That's fine. There's no problem there. But they all use the Universal Serial Bus, which is what USB stands for.
Is that what it actually stands for?
Yes.
Universal Serial Bus.
Yes. And I don't know why we can't just use the Universal Serial Bus for everything, like an OBD port.
It does actually make some sense.
It does. And I know that many new cars have USB ports now.
You could charge your phone from your...
OBD port.
Yeah.
You would actually not even need the OBD port if they did it the way I want them to do it. You would just bring the laptop in there and plug it into your little phone charger and ta-da.
And then boom.
You could interact
you have
with the car.
diagnostics.
Yeah. I don't see why it doesn't happen like that.
I do like your I wish they would have. It makes some sense.
Yeah. Do you have one?
I do. So mine goes into the car insurance world.
Oh, God.
Have you ever tried to comprehend what car insurance, like what your policy tells you?
No, and I don't want to.
No. I wish they would make car insurance easy and more simpler to understand.
Yes.
If I get into a crash, what am I covered with?
It's not clear.
Like X, an if-then statement, right? You come from software and coding. You deal in if-then statements literally every single day.
Yes.
Why can we not make car insurance if-then statements?
Because it's like right now it's if then else, if then else, if then else. It's chaos. And they're all nested in each other.
I wish they would just make car insurance like black and white and easy to understand and maybe less options.
But I love your thought process here.
You see what I'm getting at?
I love your thought process
Because
here.
have you ever tried to shop for insurance and be like, what the hell do I even want?
Yes. But you know that the first situation that's going to happen is like, well, I ran into this person because I was trying to avoid a squirrel and there was a construction cone that was right there. And like that got kicked onto the back of a flatbed pickup, which then dropped a ladder. And then I hit that. And it's not just this simple, like, if you get into an accident, here's what happens.
Yes, but I wish they could at least make it easier to understand.
I totally agree with you.
Maybe if they're still like were those clauses, but like I would just wish they could like simplify, make it easier for human beings to comprehend.
Dude, you know who really needs that?
Who?
The medical insurance industry.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Yes.
That is the worst.
You know what? Pause. Insurance in general.
Yes.
If you deal in insurance, you are speaking Mandarin to people that only speak Portuguese.
Mm-hmm. They have jobs just to decode medical codes for insurance. And I'm like, what why?
Stupid.
Why? Why does this exist?
It's stupid. But yeah, that's my wish I would have. I wish I would make car insurance comprehensible for human beings to understand what the hell you're actually getting.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
So that's my wish I would have. I think that's pretty much going to wrap us up. Do you have anything else for episode 46, Derek Schmidt?
I don't think I do, my friend.
All right, so that's going to wrap us up for episode 46. Thank you all so much again, very, very much. We're so grateful for you for watching on YouTube and listening wherever you listen, on Apple, Spotify, anywhere like that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave us a thumbs up and drop a comment for us if you could. Would be so grateful for that. And if you're on Apple, leave us a 5-star rating and review, as well as Spotify if you could. Would be so thankful there. And if you can, make sure you send us all your I wish they would'ves and any auto-related news articles or anything you'd love to hear us chat about, all the way through our socials. At Facebook is at We Are Auto, Instagram We Are Auto_, TikTok We Are Auto, and YouTube is at We Are Auto, aren't we?
That's it.
Awesome. So thank you so much again for watching and listening, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.